Test, test, test. Okay, if you are watching live, give me 1 second while I get this set up. Good morning, everybody. My name is Bobby Blanchard, and I am the Texas Tribune social media editor. If you are watching live on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, this is a press conference from Governor Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and Texas House Speaker Dennis Bonnen. Cindy, you are asking, do we know what the subject is yet? We do not know what the subject is yet. However, we can tell you that they are being joined by, 1 second. They're being joined by Paul Bettencourt and Dustin Burrows. Paul Bettencourt is the committee chair on the Property Taxes Committee in the Texas Senate. And we know that property taxes are a really big deal to all three of these big three lawmakers this session. So that's kind of a hint at what this could be about, but we do not know yet officially what it could be. Okay, this is what it looks like, the view. This is where they're going to be sitting. We'll be streaming it here when we know more. Sorry. If you have questions while we wait, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
You got a better offer from another state?
Yeah, no kidding.
Your job I'm doing maestro. You again. Oh, gee. What's yeah, very good. Good version. What's the question? Yeah, that'll go well. How are you?
Great, how are you doing?
Buddy, you just asked a question about public education funding. I don't know what the state public education funding is going to look like at the end of this session. However, Texas Comptroller Glenn Hagel issued a report at the beginning of session saying that Texas should and can try to get funding to 40%, state funding to 40% public education. A reminder, if you have questions, I'm here to answer them, but I do imagine this press conference will be getting started. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go, guys.
Morning.
How's it going?
I don't get it. How every time we have one of these, you're right there. You're on the front row.
40 years. I can tell you, you haven't aged a day. I still, however, harbor ill feelings for you for leaving Peaches behind that gate. By the way, a quick announcement. Peaches now turned 1 year old. Happy birthday to Peaches.
All right.
But we have even better news than that. One thing that we know is the people in the state of Texas expect the Texas legislature to step up and reform property taxes in Texas. In fact, today I think is the last day that property tax owners have to pay their tax bills without paying a penalty. And so as they are grappling with the challenges of paying these ever skyrocketing tax bills, we are here in the Capitol working to make sure we reform a property tax system in Texas that is costing our taxpayers way too much. That said, I am unbelievably proud to see the way that both the Texas House and the Texas Senate have both come together, worked tirelessly to quickly address this issue. And what may be completely unprecedented, no one that I know of can remember the last time it was ever done, this early in the session, for an issue this big and profound, both the House and Senate, as of today, have come together and filed identical pieces of legislation to reform property taxes in Texas. That is a testament to tireless work that went into this effort before the session began. A lot of time was spent on it during the School Finance Commission hearings and work that members of both the House and Senate were involved in. But also once we got to the Capitol, I know that under the leadership of the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker, as well as Chairman Burrows and Chairman Betancourt, I don't think they have slept a whole lot the last few weeks. They've been working around the clock to make sure they are able to get this draft of legislation out so that members of both the House and Senate are able to go to work on it so that we will end this session with very meaningful property tax reform. It's a testament to their work ethic. It's a testament to their commitment. But I think most importantly, it's a testament to the voters in this state. The voters demanded this, and this demonstrates that the Texas legislature is responsive to the needs of our voters, and I'm proud of the incredible work you guys have done. So with that, I'm going to pass it to the Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Governor. This shows what can happen when you have teamwork. And, you know, there's a new sheriff in town over in the House, and Speaker Bonnen's done a great job. We met 2 times yesterday, still working on the finer points with the members of this legislation. And I'm proud to work with the Speaker and the House and Chairman Burrows. I first came to Austin as a civilian witness to lower property taxes in 2003 with this guy. It's been a long fight, but it's a fight worth having for the people. People desperately need property tax reform. Our businesses need property tax reform. And we have set out on this date, early in session, as the Governor said, with a major piece of legislation that we are setting the tone for the rest of the session on this issue. And we will be tackling other major issues this session in the same way. I cannot say strongly enough how this would not have happened without Speaker Bonnen saying, how can we do this together? So thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this is a great day for homeowners and business owners who are sick and tired of seeing their property taxes go up 7, 8, 9, 10% or more every year. Those days are over. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
I want to thank the governor and the lieutenant governor for working so seamlessly together with all of us. And I want to thank them for creating the opportunity to do what has been mentioned. In my 11 legislative sessions, I'm not aware of ever having identical bills on such a significant and powerful issue that affects every Texan being filed. I believe there's Senate Bill 2 and House Bill 2. We not only have the language the same, the numbers are the same. But the reality of it is, we hear from the people of Texas.
Should be HB 2.5.
I agree. Yeah, well, I agree. And it really is 2.5, isn't it,
right.
Governor?
Like across the board.
Across the board.
Okay, that's right.
And what's wonderful about today is that we make it clear to the people of Texas that we hear them, we have compassion for the challenges that they face in paying these overly burdensome property taxes, and most importantly, you have the support and the leadership of the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and the Speaker to hand this important issue to our members, to Chairman Burrows, to Senator Betancourt, and all the members of the Senate and all the members of the House to do what makes the legislature in Texas great. We solve problems. And this is the first step in solving the biggest problem facing Texas taxpayers. And I'm honored to have a first-class chairman, one of the smartest members in the Texas House, Chairman Burrows, leading that effort and leading that committee for us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Governor, we tried to get 2.5 as the bill number. They told you we had to go to 2. So
I'm open to 2.
yeah.
Okay, right.
Going to 2 or 3.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud to work with everybody up here. This is a great bill. I'm very proud of House Bill 2. It ensures that we're going to have control, and taxpayers have control over the rate of increase of property taxes. It's going to empower property owners to say no to significant increases in their property taxes. And most of all, it's going to ensure that taxpayers know who's actually increasing their property taxes. This is the start of it. I look forward to hearing from 149 of my colleagues. Each of them in their districts will have a seat at the table to share their comments and concerns, and we look forward to starting the process with that. So, with that,
thank you, Chairman Burrows. And this is a great day for Texas taxpayers, because the leadership of the state of Texas has recognized that the vexing problem facing taxpayers is that the tax bills are going up at least 2 or 3 times faster than they can handle. And more importantly, I think that the concept of having a 2.5% across the board rollback rate, and for schools, cities, counties, all special taxing universities, means that there's a universal solution. And the solution came from, that number came from the governor, who wisely determined with the House at 6 and the Senate at 4, he was going to compromise at 2.5, okay? And that's what's called real leadership, okay? And I want to thank the governor's staff as well. We've got 149 good members on the House side, and I've got 30 good Senate members myself. I've already got joint authors of Senator Creighton, Senator Hancock, Senator Taylor, and Senator Paxton. I expect to have a tremendous number of co-authors, because everybody understands the vexing problem facing homeowners here, Travis County, all over the state. As property values go up, tax rates never come down. People are being pushed tax out of their home. Gentrification is a new word that everyone understands in Travis County, Barrett County, Harris County, Dallas County, Tarrant County, you name it. This bill goes to a tremendous step to stop that problem. And more importantly, we can't have, and what's happened in major urban areas is a 37% increase in property tax bills in the Houston area, a 33% increase in property tax bills in the Dallas area. Homes that used to pay $3,700 are now paying $5,000 a year. And this leadership team is addressing the obvious fact that it must apply to school taxes, because that's over half the tax bill. And I'm excited. I think the taxpayers are ready for this. They have been crying out for relief. And I can see that it's a new day in Texas with this type of leadership of what we call the big three: the governor, lieutenant governor, and the speaker. I would never have dreamed to come into
a meeting like this with identical bills filed by my House counterpart, with legislation that is the 2.5, House bill / Senate bill 2.5. We might want to do a concurrent resolution for fun on that, given the governor's leadership on the issue too. And we did start a long time ago, 15 years ago, as citizens, and we're going to finish it for the citizens this session, this year, because they're crying out for property tax relief. And I'm honored to be a part of a leadership team that will make a difference for all Texas taxpayers, no matter where they live, no matter where they work. This bill's going to make a difference.
All right, a few questions.
Rebecca Allen, DMN.
Oh, great. Well, hate to start with the diversion, but I just needed to ask, in light of the Secretary of State's list that were released, I'm just wondering if there's a feeling, if you have a reaction to that, if there's a feeling that there should be, those lists should be rescinded, given that there have been so many mistakes that have been identified.
Well, a couple of things. One is that I think everybody agrees that we in the state of Texas don't want anybody who's not legally authorized to be able to vote to have the ability to cast a vote. Two, we also want to make sure that no one who does have the ability to vote is going to be denied that ability to vote. Hence, it's important that the Secretary of State, DPS, the counties, everybody work together to make sure these lists are accurate. If I recall correctly, in the initial information that was released by the Secretary of State's office, they were clear that it was a weak match, and they were reaching out to counties saying, listen, this isn't a hard and fast list. This is a list that we need to work on together to make sure that those who do not have the legal authority to vote are not going to be able to vote. And so this is what you would categorize as a process, a working process, and they'll get it right, but I do want to be emphatic. It is essential that the Secretary of State, DPS, counties, everybody with any authority over this whatsoever work collaboratively and swiftly together to make sure our voter rolls are accurate to ensure integrity in the election process.
Governor, do you believe it's possible? Do you believe it's possible that tens of thousands of non-citizens have voted in Texas?
I think it's important to let the data speak for itself, and that's why it's so critically important that the Secretary of State, DPS, and the counties all work together to find out exactly what the facts are.
What's the characterization, though, of the announcement that 58,000 non-citizens have voted, and even the president tweeted that out?
All I can do is look back at what the Secretary of State said, and that is there was indefinite information about the accurate number of matches, and it was essential for the Secretary of State to work with DPS as well as with local authorities that have information that is additional and separate from what the Secretary of State has, so we can all work together. There's a single goal here. The single goal that everybody surely agrees upon is that no one who doesn't have the authority to vote is not eligible to vote, and equally that everybody who is eligible to vote make sure that they are registered.
Rudy Koski.
Governor, in regards to the property tax reform legislation, one of the biggest things that I have heard in regards to residents saying that they need change happen is that every session we hear reform, but the appraisal district is never changed. Does this legislation do that?
Well, first of all, already there are. Do you want to take that? Or
Let's speak.
The short answer, yes, but they're going to get.
Yes.
You're going to get the longer answer. Yeah.
Not that long. No,
safely.
it's not that long. This bill tackles the toughest challenges that we've had to face legislatively, and there are reforms for appraisals in this bill, but there will be a more broad sweeping appraisal reform bill that, quite frankly, if you look back to last session, almost unanimously House and Senate members could deliver that to the governor's desk within 30 days. So we're here delivering on the hardest part of this solution, but the appraisal reform is a significant part of this solution, but that will be one of the more agreeable and easily deliverable to the governor's desk.
Lieutenant Governor, I remember when you first pushed this several sessions ago, and right after the reform was signed by the governor, it was pretty much undone by the appraisal district.
First of all,
we're going to have our hearing in the Senate next Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock.
Right. Property tax committee starts
Property
at 8
tax
a.m.
next Wednesday. I'm hoping that the counties and the cities and the school districts come in and support their taxpayers. We have been stopped time after time in the past by a total resistance to reform. We're asking our partners at the local level to come in and partner with us and support their taxpayers. The days of saying, no, we're going to kill the bill because we don't want change, today sends a clear message. That day is over. So we welcome them to come in and testify next week to contribute to making this the best bill that we could possibly pass. And right now, I think we have a pretty darn good bill, and we want their participation. They're taxpayers. I hear this a lot. Well, these are our constituents. The constituents at the local level are also our constituents. Every county judge, every superintendent, every mayor's constituents have a representative, a senator, and a statewide governor and lieutenant governor. So we're all in this together.
Real quick, let me add to the Lieutenant Governor's point, because it is the heart of the message that needs to be received from what's happening here today. In previous efforts to give our taxpayers the support and reform they deserve, local entities have chosen to pit the House versus the Senate versus the House, and the governor somewhere in between the discussion. We're delivering the message today that we ask you, as the Lieutenant Governor just said so well, we ask you to come to the table and work with us on behalf of the taxpayers that we all represent, but you will not be dividing the House and the Senate and the governor on the solution. So join us in finding the right solution, because we're already joined together.
Well said. Right, and Rudy, there's a half a dozen major appraisal reforms already in the bill. I'll be happy to go with you. It touches the appraisal review board. It touches the methodologies that the appraisal districts are supposed to use. We also have an advisory committee formed at the comptroller's level to look at best practices, handle taxpayer complaints. There's a lot of appraisal reforms, and as the Speaker said, and Lieutenant Governor agrees, that portion of the bill is just going to get bigger.
John Moritz, last question.
Obviously, the school districts are going to shortfall property taxes. Do you identify a reliable revenue that will work for them going forward, not this?
All right. You know,
Take it.
Well, one of the things that we're here for the next 120 some days is to find that revenue so that we will pass this bill that accomplishes our goal of reducing, reforming taxpayers. And so we're very confident in the governor's plan of 2.5%, that we will pass it, we will find the funding to fund it, and we already have many ideas along those lines. So I'm very confident.
To that end, the other powerful point that I don't want lost is that the leaders are also, through this bill and other efforts that are being made, we're making it very clear the commitment to public education in Texas. Right. Mm-hmm. And the commitment from the state level to help ensure that public education is properly funded. And if you look at the Senate's base budget, look at the House's base budget, they were very similar. So those of you like to talk about where they were different, but they were far more similar than different. And the significant similarities that speaks to the question is that the additional revenues that we are blessed with a thriving economy in Texas, the Senate and the House have agreed already that we will be using billions of those dollars to support our local school districts.
I would quip that Carl Sagan had it right. This is billions and billions, but that's what our job is up here every 2 years, is to pass those budgets and make those decisions and priorities.
And this is the job of the legislators in the House and the Senate. We've now set the vision, set the direction, set the parameters, and now it's up to Chairman Burrows and Chairman Betancourt and all the members in the House and the Senate to come together and get everything across the finish line.
Thanks, guys. We've got to go.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.